Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Unfortunately, it's not always a happy ending when you have these bird cams set up, and it looks like the wren's nest is ending in tragedy for some reason. A couple of nights ago, we had a sort of a cold front come through. It was down in the 50s, and that was the first time I noticed, or it was the first time that the wren did not sit on the nest, and I thought that was unusual. That was the first unusual thing that I saw. I've got coffee percolating in the background, sorry about that noise. And the box was, it gets some good sun in the afternoon, and I thought it was unusual that the wren picked this box. Sort of seemed like to me it was late in the season. And there were like 8, I think, chicks in here, and they were doing great. They were pretty large too. And I was wondering how the small ones were going to be able to compete with the larger ones that had advantages. You can see there's still an egg that hasn't hatched. But overnight, they disappeared. You look at the size here, it's hard to gauge, but then when you see how small the wren is, the adult wren, and then when the wren is in the box there, it gives you an idea how small these babies must be. So maybe she can wrestle the bodies out of the box, but I'm thinking it just is too hot there, and there's only one wren, so I don't know if that's how they usually just rely on one parent. Seems a lot to ask of a one parent for 8, potentially 9 chicks. And you would think that the ones that hatched first would be able to compete better, but it seems like right now the smallest ones are the ones that have survived. I don't know, maybe they're surviving off of their yolk, but any little vibration that each of them gives off, they've got their mouths gaped open for food. And another thing is the sole parent was spotty at best as far as feeding goes, and this looks like another night that she's not going to be on the nest. I mean, it's warm enough now though, but that one night it was so cold, I thought it was strange that I said, well, maybe it's so warm in there with all those warm bodies, she doesn't need to be on the nest. But there's one body in there now, kind of a lot, larger bird, and they just I don't know, succumb to the heat, or we're having a drought conditions right now, so maybe because of the drought there's not that much out there to bugs to find. And from what I've watched, very spotty feeding, not like the chickadees, which is like the food was coming in 1 minute to the next. So the chickadees, they were just bringing food one right after another, and both parents were supplying the food, and it never let down. So, I don't know what happened. Like I said, a lot of them just disappeared without me even seeing what happened. They were just gone. So there's just 2 right now. I thought maybe they were moving near the hole and they were just out of view of the nest. But I don't think that's the case. It looks like there's just 2 surviving there, and they're very hungry. And there's the one body in there, which I think I'm going to take that out. I'll leave the egg, and I don't have the time to intervene here, so I'm just going to have to let nature take its course. And the wren, I haven't heard it this evening. It just disappears, and when I think it's not going to show up again, it does show up, but it's not feeding them too often. So let me get that carcass out of there, because that can't be good. I know they're so small that maybe they disappear real quick, dry up and shrivel up real quick. But that looked like a really large one too in the upper right there. You can see they're real hungry. They just each other, the motion from each one just triggers the feeding response, so they probably seem to be pretty hungry, so I don't know what's going on, what happened. So let me go attempt to get that one body out there that they're lying on. These. Yeah, so I got the light on that straps onto my head and gives me hands-free light, and get some gloves on. I don't know why they've died off. I did have a quick thought that maybe there was something wrong with the mealy worms, because the ones I had in the container disappeared, so the mealworms. But I think it's just not enough food, and maybe drought conditions, not enough food, and poor parenting skills on the part of the lone wren. Just can't supply enough food, or combination with not a good hunter maybe. First thing I noticed, there's a lot of earwigs in here. Jeez, it's packed with earwigs. I wonder if that was a problem. I don't think I can get in there. I can't see. I need something to stand on. So I got it out. But where did the other ones go? It's a good size. I don't think, well, I wasn't thinking the wren could get that out, but it's funny that the eggs are white with the camera, but visually they're actually brown. So I'll bury this guy. Don't know what happened to the other ones. So that's that. Didn't smell too good in there, and like I said, there were a lot of earwigs when I opened up the door. I was thinking maybe that decaying body there would trigger the parent to abandon the nest too, so that's why I got that out of there. But we'll see what happens tomorrow, and I might just have to turn this off. Don't want to watch anymore. So this is New England Gardening on not so happy ending with the wren nest. Maybe it was just too much to ask for one wren, and considering maybe there's not enough food out there either. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.